and and the thing about it with Angel Reese, with Angel Reese, it's kind of like it's kind of a situation where you know, she's seen as the bad guy. She was seen as that bad guy in their last 2 years of college. She won a national championship and did the
Mhm.
whole John Cena thing. And at the end of the day, you know, she's just a great. She was seen as the villain in all that, and a lot of people embrace Clark because you know the racial situation in this country. You know, people are called railing up against DEI and all that, thinking that you have white people thinking that somehow black people are going to take jobs from them, and assuming that we're not qualified for stuff, and so for some reason, Clayton Clark has become their hero. Everybody's being too hard on her. Everybody's fouling her too hard, and they want her to have certain privileges and certain things that the other player. And that's where the beef is. There's no question about her talent at all, no question. But everybody, but what's happening is they're saying if you breathe on her, that somehow it's a foul.
All right, let's do this, Chris. We're going to take a quick break here. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Chris Murray, author of First Draft, a collection of stories chronicling race, sports, and social justice in the 21st century. You can get this book at linusbooks.com. Don't change that dial. We'll be right back.
Hold, hold on one
Right.
second. I gotta go. I gotta open up a door. Hold on.
Woo! I set my cruise on 109 miles an hour. That's crazy.
How do you do
Are you
it?
serious?
Yeah, that's on PA line. And let's can we have a conversation with him before we go?
I already asked.
Okay. What did he say?
He said that he would let us know in advance next time. He was the only one here.
All right.
Because he shrugged his shoulders. He shrugged his shoulders.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. I am here with Sapphire Blue, and we have Chris Murray on the line with us right now. I'm sorry, Chris. First I call you the wrong name. Now I call you a doctor. You're going to be a doctor one day, right? Okay, you teach?
Maybe I don't know. I like when people call me Chris. I'm cool.
Thank you so much for being here. Great interview so far between you and Sapphire. But one of the things I wanted to ask about that Caitlin Clark situation. Well, first of all, I had a comment about the homosexuals in basketball. They had the WNBA has a lot of homosexual fans. Who come out and watch.
Mhm.
I got a chance to. I went to Ohio State University. The Ohio State University.
Thank you. Ding, 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 ding.
We didn't call it that when I was there, though. So it's like all these new things that we didn't say back then. But I had a chance to work at the Schottenstein Center when it first opened up, and my job was great. I was an usher. I could pick whatever games I wanted to work, and I did a lot of basketball games, both girls and boys. And there were a lot of gay fans that came, as couples and stuff like that. So I don't understand how you can leave those fans out of the equation when it comes to marketing the sport and things like that, and bad treatment of gay players and stuff like that. I don't understand that. And that Caitlin Clark situation, I think
Mhm.
social media is what is the driven force now, where you got that clip on ESPN, but it relives itself over and over again on social media.
Mhm.
And they have her pit as this all American Midwestern girl who can do
Hmm.
no wrong and stuff like that. And like you said, if you breathe on her, it's a foul. And it's just a typical, a racial play, to cause
Right.
racial animus and things like that. And she wasn't supposed to, Angel Reese wasn't supposed to do the John Cena thing to her. Who does she think she are? She need to know her place. So, as one of those, why, she's being painted as a villain because she did that to their all American, all world, savior to, Caitlin Clark. So I think that's a lot where the racial animus comes from because you can't challenge a white person. And
Right.
I just think the situation, is these things that we fight so hard for. And like that time where Drew Brees was on Fox News, spouting off his opinions, and then when it came to LeBron, it's shut up and dribble. But Drew
Right.
Brees has a voice and should be able to talk. It's just the classic narrative, and you're just so sick and tired of it. I'm glad that you wrote this book, because one reason why a lot of athletes don't speak out is they're scared of losing their bread and butter. They saw what happened to Colin Kaepernick, and quote unquote, the NFL put him in his place, and he never played again. So they don't want
Hmm.
that to happen to them. So they're scared to speak out in a way that we need them to. LeBron, chose to speak out. He's a billionaire. He can't be touched. The best player in basketball. He can't be touched. But other people, they don't have that ability. But I definitely wish Michael Jordan had spoke up. He's more than a
Yeah.
billionaire times over, but he never has spoken up about racism or anything like that.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And the thing is, not everybody is equipped to do that. But I think he had, because there are really two paths. And if you want to go back and see a history of that, I can tell you. I remember O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson when he played in the prime of his NFL career, every kid wanted to be O.J. Simpson. I had number 32 jersey that I had practically when I played little league football. I mean, everybody wanted to be that guy because he did the Hertz rent a car. He was that quintessential, um, you know, crossover superstar from the '70s, as was to a certain extent Willie Mays a long time ago in baseball. And so, from that standpoint, from that particular point of view, you got you that and Bill Roden mentioned that in his book that if you're on this sort of conveyor belt, you surround yourself by white people and you don't think of yourself in terms of race, and that's the thing I think that when I look at athletes speaking out, that's the number one thing that seems to stand out is that there are a lot of black athletes today who are gonna speak out, despite the fact that there's the distinct possibility of losing millions the way Kaepernick did. And I just think at the end of the day, it's hard to take that path. Not all of us are equipped to speak out. Some would rather, like I look at Malcolm Jenkins who did speak out, but he played with the Eagles and he decided to do certain things to fight against, free fight for prison reform, for poor people and all that, to keep from being, harassed by the police and things of that nature. And even Doc Rivers, who was at the time coaching the LA Clippers, he was speaking out saying, black when do we get justice in this country? And it gets to the point to where even the athletes were questioning whether or not they should love their country. And of course, when that happens, white people or white Americans feel like, oh well, you should go with the flag, but the flag has never been a symbol of justice for us. It's been, if you were living in Boston back in the day, there's a famous picture of a black man being stabbed by a flag. So from that point of view, um, you know, you get these kinds of things. But I just think at the end of the day that they want somebody who's like, who's going to be an all American and Not necessarily like you don't think of race when you think of Michael Jordan. Like, everybody wants to be like Mike and everything. So that's where we are. I mean, long story short, like I said, I'll
It's
try to
curious
keep
that
this
you say that
compact.
because I always look at sports as that vehicle that can bring different people, ethnicities, and ages together and make that dynamic that has been pervasive in our country for how many centuries. They can erase that as a factor. You know, you take example that the news that Vice President Kamala Harris, she's bringing back Chuck Taylors. This is the Vice
Hmm.
President of the United States of America, and there's still that sports component. Um,
Hmm.
I want to try to transition here. We've been pretty heavy on how social issues intersect with sports, and because you're an East Coaster, and if I need to say this again for my wonderful co-host Rachel, Philly in the house. I want to get your thoughts on the upcoming NFL season, the teams you're covering. We have Irie Harris in studio with us, and let's start this conversation, Chris. How
Okay.
what do you
With
see right now? What do you see right now?
in terms of Philly sports, well, the big question right now, well, the baseball team, the Phillies are a contending team. They're in first place in the National League East. They're in 7.5 games up. They had a lull period where they lost some games. They are 11-17 coming out of the All Star break, and they were in a funk for a while. But they were playing the Nationals and the Marlins, and when you play bad teams like that, that's how kind of get you kind of get things going. They've had some nagging injuries, but that's how
Mhm.
you get things going. I mean, the Braves, they got games in the next over the next 13 games against the Braves, the Houston Astros, and the Kansas City Royals, who are also playoff contending teams. You're not going to walk over those teams, and so it's really a test of whether or not they can, maintain their huge lead. We got about a couple of months left in the season, less than a couple of months left in the season. So the Phillies fans are hoping that in these next 13 games, if they can go beyond 500 and win most of those games, they'll be okay. They'll be okay in the NL East, and you still have other teams contending, but they'll be okay be a division winner as a playoff. Get to the playoffs as a division winner. The only thing is that might be if the Phillies finish with the best record in baseball, will they actually get to the World Series? And since the playoff era, it's always hard for the best team in baseball or best team in the league record wise during the regular season to get to the World Series. It's because baseball is kind of like baseball can be even at times, and baseball can like I say, you lose a game in a series, you could conceivably, not win that series depending on what game it is. So that's where Philly is in the baseball thing. The biggest question in Philly sports, in my opinion, is last year the Philadelphia Eagles went 10-1. They went 10-1, and they were probably the most miserable 10-1 team that that I've come across. But they kept winning games. Jalen Hurts showed some signs of he threw 15 interceptions, committed 4 fumbles, lost fumbles, so he had 19 turnovers, and that's unacceptable for a quarterback. But I don't think it wasn't entirely his fault. I think that ESPN recently reported that inside the Eagles locker room, basically Nick Sirianni, the head coach, wanted to run everything with the offense and kind of undermined his offensive coordinator, according to those reports. And there was a point like the Eagles fell apart near the end of the season. So now they have a new offensive coordinator in Kellen Moore. They got a new defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio, and the expectations are high. People saying that Jalen Hurts hasn't thrown an interception in practice, which I don't take a lot of stock for that, because to me you got to get into the game, and I'm concerned about whether or not in the preseason, they haven't played a snap in preseason. They've been having the joint teams. Like last year, the Browns came to Philly
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns came to Philly last year. I got a chance to see them, and the one of those drills are nice. The problem is you still don't get a feel for game conditions because in those 101, those practices, it's like a scrimmage, but you can't hit the quarterback. You
Right.
can't hit the quarterback and all this other stuff, and you can only do but so much hitting in that situation. So they're not. I don't know if they're going to really be ready for because they're going to Brazil, and no media outlet that I work with is going to send me to Brazil to cover it. But the thing is just that that's the big thing. The Sixers, on the one hand, last year in free agent, this past year in free agency, signed Paul George,
I saw
and
that. And you know what, Chris,
and
not to interrupt you, we're going to hop into that on the other side of this break. So hold on to that thought. We are going to be right back.
cool.
All right.
You guys leave me alone.
Okay. I'm gonna touch on Paul George. And I'm gonna come back because Browns are going to Philly, the Eagles this year. So, and then come on in.
You guys lead, I'll follow. Okay, I'll say you guys lead, I'll follow.
Oops.
Yeah, because we only going to 5:53 today.
What's that?
We're only going to 5:53 today.
Let me not get you in trouble. Okay.
All right, welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. Remember, make sure you keep it locked here on your regular radio dial at 95.9 FM. You can download the app so you can listen to us on the go. You can also listen online at WOVU.org. This is your girl, Rachel Hill. Like I just said, I'm here in studio with Sapphire, Irie Harris, who we're going to get to in a minute, and Charles Murray, author of First Draft. Chris, sorry, Chris. Chris Murray, First Draft, a collection of stories chronicling race, sports, and social justice in the 21st century. Chris, I promise I'm not that much of a tool, so I apologize about that. But like I said,
Don't worry about it.
have you with us, and I just want to get in one thing really quickly. We are going to Philly. The Cleveland Browns are going to Philly this season, and I'm predicting a win over the Philadelphia Eagles. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
Well, we might. Like I say, the Browns play in the tough NFC North between Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cincinnati. That's going to be a dogfight, and of course you got the NFC East, with the Eagles, Giants, Commanders, and Cowboys. So they're to quote Mr. Spock from Star Trek. You might be premature. There are many possibilities. And
I love it.
and so
It's so interesting, Chris, because we play at Philly, right? We also
mhm,
play at the Commanders, and of course, between those two cities, we play the Baltimore Ravens, right? So this
uh-huh.
year it seems like we're pervasively playing against East Coast teams. But I am so curious, and I'm gonna hand this off to Irie. How you feel the Browns stack up against the Philadelphia Eagles?
I think it's an even shot. I mean, if Nick Chubb is healthy, and you sign Amari Cooper, and why am I having to see him with the quarterback? Deshaun Watson. Lord have mercy. I think Deshaun Watson will have had it have he had the season when he came back, and he looked good in the Baltimore game when they beat Baltimore at home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think with a year of those two working together through mini camps and OTAs, I mean, the Browns have some good players. You got David Njoku, you got like I said, Amari Cooper. So when you got those guys out there, and I think Deshaun Watson, when he is on his game, he can be a dangerous quarterback. The Browns have a good chance to win that game. I do think the Eagles might be better with their weapons between AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, and Saquon Barkley. So
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a tough game. It's not going to be a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. I expect the Browns to come out tough. I expect the Eagles to come out tough. I expect both teams to come out. I'm going to give the edge to Philly in this situation because I like Jalen Hurts, and I think Jalen Hurts can do a lot of things with the football and all that. So that's the thing. That's where we are.
Hi, Mr. Murray. Ivory Harris here from Cleveland.com. I'm on the Browns beat, so I'm primarily on the other side. Uh, Coming in right now, just wanted to ask real quick regarding those two teams, Eagles and Browns. I understand that both of them, as we know, they both had joint practices the last couple of years during the training camp periods. Not this year, but they are on schedule to play each other regular season week 6. These are also two teams that kind of had similar seasons, but different expectation on both sides. Like it was amazing, and Browns had 11 wins, and then the Eagles are, finishing with 11 wins, and it's a disappointment because of the season prior with the Super Bowl appearance. So I want to ask you, could this potentially be, as leads right now, as of August 19th, maybe a preview to a Super Bowl matchup with these two teams going at it?
Well, I'm going to say this: coming out of that division, I'm not going to rule it out. That could be a distinct possibility. I mean, look at the AFC North. I mean, you got the Baltimore Ravens, which I'm from Baltimore. That's my hometown. But you got the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson vowing to be even better than he was. And they have Derrick Henry of all people.
Yep.
And then my man, and Pittsburgh Steelers. The heck, I don't know if it's going to be Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, and but they have Pittsburgh might be the weakest team in that division, but you can't overlook the Steelers.
No.
I mean, Mike Tomlin is going to have those guys playing. Mike Tomlin is probably one of the best coaches I think in the league and whatnot because he hasn't had a lot of talent, but his teams are always competitive. And then if Joe Burrow can stay healthy in Cincinnati, and that team stays healthy, that's another team. I mean, it's going to depend because I mean the Browns. I mean, like I said, Browns could be a Super Bowl team. I mean, everybody in that division is really good, and I think the Eagles. I think the Eagles can be that representative from the NFC. I think they can beat. I think they may come back and beat San Francisco, take that from San Francisco and all that because they. I think the Niners. I think Niners fans talk a lot of smack, but I think it's gonna if the Eagles are if they have really mastered Kellen Moore's offense in the way that they all seem to think. That I think the Eagles can have can make a run to the Super Bowl, but I'm skeptical. I mean I'm skeptical of of how they look in joint practices. I don't think joint practices tell me much. You still got to have the game speed, in my opinion.
Right. Totally agree. And I wanted to ask too. I believe Philly drafted Kenyon Mitchell out of Toledo. I think he went
Right.
first round, 21st or 22nd pick. How has he looked to you?
What I saw the first preseason game. They liked him so much that they kept him out of the second one. Listen, man, you're gonna be on this defense. He looks good. That guy looks good. I mean, he knows how to. He has good coverage skills, and I think he's gonna make a difference. They'll probably play him in as a slot corner situations and all that, but. That guy can play. That kid can play. He can absolutely play. But we'll see. Like I said, I gotta see live bullets. I gotta see all those things. And they have a tough opponent on opening day in Brazil, down in Sao Paulo and whatnot. Which I can't go and I don't know. And even if someone sent me, I think my wife would be skeptical of sending me down there without her and all that. Not that I mean, I'm in bed I'm in the house by 8 or 9 o'clock. 'Cause I don't like to run the street. But the thing is, thing is, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough game. And it's going to be a tough game because you got that plane ride and all that. But I think the Browns. I mean, anybody can win that division. Anybody can win that division. I think you got both all four teams. Well, all four teams have pretty good defenses. I mean, I like my man. Who? Good lord, wow, yeah, the edge rusher for the Browns. That guy's just man.
Oh, Miles,
Eh,
you talking
huh?
about you talking about Miles
Yeah.
Garrett?
Yes, Miles Garrett. That guy can play. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
And you know that guy is just that guy. That guy is frightening off the edge.
Hmm.
And I think he's a tough. I mean that he's the thing that makes that defense go.
Yeah.
And I think that the Browns are going to be a contender. I like the Browns. I mean nobody's talking, but that division. I don't think anybody's going to sweep anybody. They might. I don't know. I don't think anybody's going to sweep anybody. I'll tell you that much. I mean, I will definitely tell you. I think last year the Ravens swept the Bengals only because Joe Burrow got hurt. But
Mhm.
no one's going. It's going to be a war. Those games in that division. I mean, that's going to be must see TV. No one's talking about that, but that's
Mhm.
going to be must see TV.
Well, my plan is to see each of those games. I'm very excited to attend. And Chris, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to
Hmm.
join our show today. Ladies and gentlemen, again, Chris Murray, author of First Draft, a collection of stories chronicling race, sports, and social justice in the 21st century. Chris is an award winning journalist. Support him. Chris, right quick, tell the folks where they can get your book.
They can get my book at Linus.com. And although if you have friended me on Facebook, if you want to get a copy from me personally, friend me on Facebook. I can get your information. I'll send you a copy. And but like I said, you can get Linus.com. If people friend me, I'll probably discount it and give some perks. I'll autograph the book for you, but you can get us on Lions.com. I'm also trying to see if I can sell some of my books on Amazon and everything, and get everybody to get it. But like I say, Lions.com. I basically put that link out on both LinkedIn and Facebook and everything. So that's where that's where it all is, and
Excellent.
so you can kind of get that from there. And if you friend me on Facebook and you DM me and whatnot, I can give you all my Cash App information and all that, and we can do it from there as well.
Excellent. That's Chris Murray, ChrisMurry, Linus Books, Linus Books.com. Chris, thank you so much. We're going to keep in touch across the season, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Oh, no doubt, no doubt,
Thank you,
no
Chris.
doubt
Go
about it.
Brown. Woo, 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 woo.
Uh-oh, the dog pound is here.
Rainbow
All
flag.
right. Good. Okay. I'll see you guys soon. And like I said, let's stay in touch. I do a radio show out of Philly as well. So let's stay in
Okay.
touch.
Be well, Chris.
Okay. Take care.
All right, we're going to go to a very, very brief break, and then we're going to discuss some Browns with Irie Harris of Cleveland.com. So we will be right back.
Go right into the breaking news, Deshaun, whatever it is, bring it. This is going to be pretty much all you.
All right, I got you. Well, my call that happened literally from last week Monday night. I had to really bring the show to now.
Do I get something to eat after the show?
Maybe, yeah.
I got to get some gas because I left it all out of the turnpike.
I got you. Jeremiah Extreme Preacher.
Welcome back to Her and the Huddle on WOVU
Got
and
it.
95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I'm here with Miss Sapphire Blue, and we are here with Irie Harris, and we're going to talk some Cleveland Browns right now. Irie Harris is a Cleveland Browns beat reporter for Cleveland.com. Irie, how are you?
I'm all right. Glad to be back once again. Looking forward to many more of my times here. How everybody here? Good to see y'all.
Doing good, man. Doing good. We are ready for you to drop
You
some.
know, I got chill bumps. You know, I look for you. Come on, bring it. What's going on, Irie?
OG Sapphire, one of a kind. You know, they're coming up another preseason loss. Thank God it's not regular season because I know you guys are, these losses will hit a bit harder.
Woo.
There's this exhibition right now, so it's just kind of practice right now, making their ways. I'm seeing who fits the roster best, who needs to be, there when needed, and who is not doing well right now. Dorian Thompson-Robinson started the whole first half. Tyler Huntley did the whole second half. So it really is you see battling it out for that third quarterback position right now, QB3.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think has the edge right now?
Right now, after the two games, it's really interesting. Right now, after the two games, at least statistically speaking, or just with what I've seen, I probably would give it to DTR. But like I say, it's interesting because right now, and I see separation right now. I'm not saying that he deserves the third quarterback position spot. Tunley has the experience and more experience. But what I'm saying right now is, well, what we've seen. Thompson Robinson has had a whole half of football to play in games right now, which has been a little unfair to Huntley because that first preseason game versus Green Bay, he only played a little bit of that first half after Jameis Winston played. So we got to see more of DTR during that second half, and the same thing in the first half right now. So that's why I say statistically that. But as far as what would make sense, at least within my opinion, for that third quarterback position, it would be somebody with experience in Huntley. I would like to see DTR make the team. I feel kind of bad. After his rookie year, all the chaos and everything going on the quarterback room,
He's still in therapy. I'm sorry. He's still in therapy.
He is. So it's a lot going on. But within that third quarterback position spot, Tyler Huntley would be the guy, I think, just as far as needing somebody to depend on if it comes to that resort.
It's so curious. But did DTR look a little gimpy to you? He looked like he was hobbling a little bit to me.
He did. I did notice that, but then my quick, looking up and down and taking notes and stuff, I thought I did see that as well too. Nothing has been mentioned of that yet, so we'll see ahead of this week. He's participating in practice and stuff. Kevin Stefanski did say they're going to try to treat this like a week would be during the regular season.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens from there with that.
And Mr. Foreman.
Mr. Foreman, definitely a good question. I was looking forward to talking about him. 85 total yards from scrimmage. He was really a triple threat during Saturday's game. 18 rushing yards, could have done a little bit better than that, but then the other yards came. He had 46 yards in the receiving area. Then he actually had the first kickoff return for 21 yards. That was very interesting to me, and this is why, because I saw you guys last Monday, and we spoke not too much on the kickoffs, edge, but during the joint practices versus Minnesota, suddenly I remember seeing, Foreman out there returning kickoffs. I'm like, wait a minute, are they going really? It was just so intriguing because then we spoke about it. I know. OG, I see your face right now. You say that's your sleeper right there.
Absolutely. I'm saying it preseason.
I love it, and I totally agree with that. And he took the first kickoff. What was intriguing about it was that per Pro Football Reference, he only has one career kickoff return, and that was for 12 yards. And I believe, like 9 or 10 during the 2017 season. Back to his rookie year, that was the only time he had a career kickoff return. So the fact that, and it makes me think furthermore, are they thinking Nyheim Hines won't be back for a little bit? So they're trying to make, maybe Deontay, that triple threat guy, maybe somebody that won't get as much carries as somebody with Hines during his days in Buffalo, but really more so using the receiving area and definitely the kickoff return yards, because that's definitely what Hines was definitely known for. And I think that's what they saw with Hines. But because he hasn't returned to the field yet, they might be seen as to using that with Deontay. That's the first thing that came to mind, really seeing it during practice and furthermore on Saturday. I know I'm kind of the wheels are turning right now as we speak.
Oh, I love this. I love this. And then real quick too, Mr. Roberts, that tight end. I mean, there's something about what I think I saw this weekend where, like, especially the yak, right? The yards after the catch. What were, if any, takeaways you had watching Aiden? I think I'm saying his name right, Aiden Robbins.
Yeah, definitely somebody that can be used in multiple ways, especially because this is There's some, like I said last week, there's still questions when it comes to this running back room right now. Travis Hines is out. Talking about Foreman, I think Roberts can be a beast though if used right. I know you mentioned this year was after catch the 2 catches for 12 yards. One of those really being the 12-yard reception because the other one was for no gain. 17 rushing yards off of 6 carries. He was able to make the most off of what little he had during the game. So I would like to see more of him, even if it's during only the 4th period on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a physicality of his game that I think I'm being attracted to. You know, we need that. This is the AFC North. So, my friend Rachel?
One last question because we're going to have to end the show soon. But is it the 3rd or 4th quarterback that would go to the practice squad?
It would be the 4th quarterback.
Okay, so
so it would be QB4. So yeah, it would just be a little demotion on the depth chart if anything, or either or. But they can still be. And I think after last year, you need both of them here. Just be extra prepared.
Yeah, so DTR would still be with the team if he was to be demoted. Unless he got picked up by another team.
Absolutely.
Either or. I'm not in that room, so I know about to get off. But I'll just, like I said last week, I'm not in that room. So honestly, even if I was, I still probably still wouldn't know what's going on around there. They make so many choices and do many things that I might get sometime right or wrong. So we'll see what happens from there on to next week.
And then really quickly, offensive tackle issues with injuries and things of that nature. Are we going to have a healthy starting offensive line?
We sure would hope so, because that's what we need for a stable offense. Who's gonna protect these quarterbacks and wide receivers when they're looking and making their routes? They need somebody to keep the jaws up the other side. We'll see. Hopefully there is. The good thing is that it's more so the guys trying to make the team and come up in rotations that are good. Injuries are never good, but you would hope it's not the starters like Antonio and Teller and Poachers.
You guys have invitations to my house to watch that late game this weekend.
Appreciate that.
Bring your plus ones.
Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to Her in the Huddle. On behalf of Irie, thank you so much, Irie. We appreciate you coming here. Chris Murray and his book, we appreciate him coming on. Sapphire, thank you for getting here, speeding, but getting here, happy and healthy. So we appreciate that. You've been listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM, and we are out of here.